So we'll start fresh. And I think that's a really good setup, is like starting fresh, right? Just starting from scratch, starting from, a total beginning. Again, my name is Masajadi, and that's what we're going to do here in the 13 days. We're going to show you how to start fresh. And when I talk about starting fresh, that doesn't mean that doesn't mean you break up with a relationship or you're in a relationship and then you set down new boundaries. You set down new rules and guidelines, and because that doesn't work. It hasn't worked in the past, and the reason why it hasn't worked is because, well, you're still the same person. So imagine that you know um, you are you, right? And then what we do is we wear different masks, right? We're all wearing different masks. I'm in a relationship. Well, we'll back up and talk about relationships in just a second, but just to give you a framework, think of it this way. We're wearing a mask. We all have this identity that that we want to show, but the real identity is deep inside us, and that's really the problem. And then what we do is that, well, I want to have a fantastic relationship. And then we go out there and we listen to or read books, or unfortunately, through society, through movies, through parenting, through your family structure and so on. It's like we start to get an idea on how relationships should work. But if you look at or analyze all those relationships that you've ever experienced, how many of them has really worked, right? And that's the key. So we are copying, right? Because that's how evolution works, right? We're beings of evolution. We copy, and most of our issues have come from, say, the past generations. So there's a couple things going on, and if you don't know about me or what I do, I'll talk about it. I'll talk about that in just a minute. But the thesis of these 13 days is to go step by step on some of the content, on some of the main issues, like abusive relationships. Why does the love fade? There's a ton of titles if you look through them. 13 different titles on some of the most, say, toxic relationship patterns that people have, and talk about it from a very different perspective. Right? And this perspective comes not from this consciousness, not from the movies, not from books I've read, not anything to do with this reality, to do with this world. Okay. And I'm not a woo woo type of guy or anything like that, but I've had two near death experiences. From those two near death experiences, I've realized that this reality can be very, very different. So, and I'm not here to like guide you into rule sets or guide you, if this happens, if X happens, then you do Y, or you just have to, say, put up with it, or you go to your happy place and all those things you've tried. I'm not here for that. I'm actually here to change your underlying program on how you see yourself in relationships. Right? So what that means is, we'll go backwards. So you have this facade, you have this identity that you have, right? And then you wear a mask. And as you wear a mask, well, this mask changes, right? You're a mother, for example, right? You wear a mask of being a mother. You wear a mask of being a husband or a wife. You wear a mask of being whatever career that you're in. You wear a mask, of a son or a daughter. All those things are masks, but our real identity, stays the same. And that identity, again, is a cumulative total of pretty much all the things that have happened to you or to your parents, and then some. So you are a total, or a cumulative total of, again, when you're born, you're basically a cumulative total, or the latest software update of your family lineage. So think of all the pains, the patterns, the emotional stress that's happened in your family. You've inherited that. And I know that sounds kind of strange, because some of you go, well, I've moved away from that. Well, mostly you haven't. Okay. You just haven't, because what we do here in exponential intelligence is literally change you from the ground, or your main framework. Okay. Your blueprint level. So, and I know I'm covering a lot of topics, and there's a lot of people online, and I'll tell you a little bit of my abilities in just a second, right? So the way I teach, by the way, and it's good to know this so you don't get confused or understand why you're getting confused, is one, I teach experientially. So what that means is that I don't have a dialogue here. It's not written out. Okay, it's free flowing, and that allows me to tap into the group. It allows me to tap into the group and see what's needed at this moment in time to help you best, say, traverse a new direction into having that solid, abundant relationship. Okay. Two, I may not, I don't teach linear. So that means is that I might talk about a subject and keep it open, and then I'll go to another subject. It confuses a lot of people, but that's the way we're supposed to learn. It's like the optimized method of learning. So if you get a little distraught or a little confused, it's like, shit, he started to say something and then he went on to another subject. It's totally fine. It's meant to be that way. Because it opens up pods. It opens up possibilities for you where your brain doesn't like close up on that idea and then you move on, because that's what most people do. And that's the number one issue that I see in relationships, right? We want closure so we can move on to the next step of the relationship. It doesn't work that way, right? You might think it works that way cognitively because it makes you feel safe and secure. And I'll explain just a bit on that and then go back. But I just want to finish this sentence is that when we want closure like that, it never works out because relationships again are free flowing. Right? They're very dynamic. They're 3D. They don't go from one step to the other. You're always in a growth period. Most people again want closure. They want an ending, and then they go. It doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way. So the same way with the way you learn. Okay, it's pretty much all the same. Where you want, say, closure on one topic and then you go to the next. It doesn't work that way because your brain needs sustenance. Okay. So what I do is like open a topic for you and then not close it. So what that means is that your brain starts searching for the answers on your own. And that's how you radically change in a very short period of time. So I'll say that again, okay, is that I keep topics open, right? Some of you might get confused or distressed as like, oh, I hate that guy because he just started to say something and I was intrigued by it. And then he jumped to another topic. Well, that's a good thing, right? Because it intrigued you enough. It sparked something in you. And then the answer that you're looking for from me actually comes from you because at a higher level, the answers are all the same. It allows you to say, get out of the zone or out of the rut that you've been in all this time, finding the same type of solutions for the same type of answers. And again, it's a recycle over and over and over again. It just doesn't work out. It never has worked out. And that's why relationships or health or wealth or anything like that, again, is a cyclical pattern. Look at your parents. Most of you run your parents' patterns. Again, why is it cyclical? Because we're a loop. We close up and then we start over again. We close up, we start over again. It doesn't work out that way at all. So we'll move on. This is just an intro. We're going to be talking about, again, why the program was created. And I started to do that. My abilities, the XI, exponential intelligence. I'll tell you what exponential intelligence is about. View of love, and then an overview of the upcoming program topics, and then historical love stories like Bonnie and Clyde, George Clooney, and Amal Clooney, John F. Kennedy and Jackie Kennedy and Marilyn Monroe, Angela Jolie, and their love stories and so on. If you have people, celebrities, and that you want me to analyze, dead or alive, feel free to send them in, and we'll put that on the roster. So each day. Well, let me back up. Let me talk about why I'm here to talk about love, because I look like I know many of you go, well, shit, he's pretty intense. He's not very loving and so on, because I am an intense individual. But that's the vibrancy. And I'm not intense because I'm insecure. I'm not intense because I'm ego driven. I'm not intense because of all the other things that people have that intensity. Okay. My intensity comes from being present in time and space. Right? And as you go through the 13 ways, guys, a lot of reasons why relationships don't work out is because you're not in the present moment, not based on, mindfulness, or not based on, the clock on your wrist or on your phone, but in time, space time. Okay. And I know it sounds a little matrixy, but as we go through the process and as we scan two individuals, which I'm really excited about, the scan, you'll see the underlying reason on how, say, space-time, or how becoming present in any situation, including relationships, is the main key to have that abundant, vibrant relationship. Right? How do I know that? Well, I've had two near-death experiences. The first one allowed me to see and expand into, say, a higher level consciousness of who I was. Again, you would call it your spirit identity. I would call it, say, your timeless identity. Again, moving away from, say, spiritual notions or definitions of spirit, religious definition, society's definition of spirit, because they're all wrong, right? They might have a smidgen of truth, but again, they're all wrong. And if I'm pushing you, going, well, shit, this guy's talking about spirituality and religion and it's all wrong. I'm not here to change your religion or spirituality on that. But if it's not working for you, fuck. I mean, look at the bottom line. I'm a bottoms line kind of guy. If it's not working, then you're not practicing it the way, the great masters of those religions or spiritual movements practiced it. Simply. So I'm just going to be pushing you to, say, peel away those inconsistencies so you get the same results as those masters. Talk about religion. This isn't a religious course or anything, but as I analyze you, all of you as a group, that's one of the main themes, right? You deem yourself as a good person or a bad person. Again, this is a religious definition, a spiritual definition, society's definition, which is all basically based on, say, religious themes that aren't true at the higher level of consciousness. And again, I've experienced the higher level of consciousness more than twice, but two main ones where I've died. So the first one has allowed me to understand who we are. I actually lived, say, in spirit form and experienced this reality, this physical reality in 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 spirit form. And I experienced the love, the joy that we all are seeking. I was there. I know the path to that, and that's why, I have, say, the knowledge to speak about true love, not love based on, say, today's definition, or this, today's society's definition on what love is. Okay? The second near death has allowed me to understand the mechanics on, say, how this consciousness works, and then edit it. So what that means is that I don't change your attitudes, I don't change your psychology, I don't change your belief systems or create rule sets or all those things. I mean, I'm sure there's a ton of stuff out there, and I'm sure many of you tried it, but then why haven't you found, say, the right solution for those? And the reason is because they don't go deep enough into your psyche, into your consciousness. So what I do through generating frequencies for you, and then helping you generate or edit or rewrite your code, your genetic makeup on how you see relationships in this situation. And I know, again, it sounds a little matrixy, it sounds a little woo-woo. I've worked on hundreds of thousands of people with massive transformations in all aspects of life. My abilities have been proven through science, and we'll get more and more scientific studies. By the way, my abilities we all have, and that's what this journey is about, right? Allowing you to expand into, say, your higher consciousness, where love can sustain itself, where love doesn't have to be, say, a sacrifice. So that's what it's all about. We'll get into all the details, the nuts and bolts. I'm not going to give you theories on just have faith and just love and follow your heart and all that stuff, because all that, I hate to say it, bullshit. All that bullshit. I mean, it's so theoretical. You can't really, hold on to it. It's like, well, okay, that sounds great, but then what do I do? Right. So I'm going to give you the step-by-step logistics on what to do. Not only just tell you what to do at a cognitive level, but help you change, again, at your blueprint. And we'll get to Woody here in just a bit, but help you change your blueprint on how you see yourself, which changes how you see relationships. Okay. So, by the way, if I read or analyze you, my and I'll get more and more into detail on say what my abilities are, and you'll see what my abilities are through the 13 days. But I can analyze anybody, and I'm not psychic or intuitive. My abilities go way beyond that. Okay? Psychic and intuitive abilities are channeled in. They're of this reality, so they're very they change by your emotions, by the type of person you're connected to, and all that. Mine's consistent because, again, it goes beyond, say, the consciousness. It goes beyond, say, the five senses of this realm into your timeless realm. So I have to read this for legal because of the world we live in. This is Masajati with Exponential Intelligence, Tuesday, March 2nd, 2021. I'm not a medical doctor. I don't diagnose or heal. I can scan your frequency signature and tell you what I see. So if I tell you on these scans, if I tell you about some health issues, again, I'm not diagnosing you. I'm just telling you what I see. It could be all off, but consult your doctor or professional advice. If you ask to be scanned today or in future episodes, you're agreeing that we may use your session on any public media to help inspire others. Right. So remember, if you don't want us to share your session, please do not ask to be scanned. It's pretty straightforward. And then all contents are protected by copyright. You may not use any of our content in any way, shape, or form for any purpose without my written consent. And then if you ask to be scanned, or if you ask a question, just please ask once, because there's a lot of people online, guys, and and it just if you ask too many times, and I can see it, I just won't analyze you. So let's move on. So we've talked about why the program was created, and I just want to get into that. So the main thesis on why this program was created is because, again, I've worked on, close to 100,000 individuals individually, not on group sessions. There's a ton more, but individually, one-on-one sessions. It's like, well, how do I do that? Well, it's because of the frequencies. It's not a time-based session. So what that means is like 2-3 decades of therapy, counseling, marriage counseling, therapy, whatever else that you go to, can be condensed in, say, a session, maybe a 2-3 10-minute session with me. That's how powerful the frequencies are, because it goes beyond, say, your beliefs, your mechanisms. You don't have to do anything. Many of you are probably feeling a little different just by, say, listening to me, and I'm not doing much, but so why is that? Right? So you have to understand, again, it's about frequency. It's not about time based. So the program was created that I saw a lot of inconsistencies or a lot of mistruths that lead people the wrong way. Right? There's so much information. I mean, we can tap into, if you go to YouTube and tap into, how do I, improve my love life? There's so many ways. And do they work? Sure, they work. But we're going to get to the underlying reason on why your love life is the way it is, because we have to get to the core level issue of anything in this series. It's about relationships, on why your love life doesn't work. Right? You can do anything at the surface level, and most of those things that you see online or anywhere else in books and therapy sessions, in whatever, is basically a surface level issue. It's like habits, belief systems, ideas. What I do goes beyond your psyche, beyond your subconscious, your subconscious, again, into your timeless self. You might call it your spirit. So that's why the program was created. We talked about my abilities. Let's talk about my view on love, or exponential intelligence view on love. So exponential intelligence is the body of knowledge that I've labeled exponential intelligence. It's a timeless body of knowledge that, say, gives us a framework on how this reality works. If we understand the framework on how this reality works, you'll have an amazing time here. If we don't, if we create our own rules, we're going to get fucked up. Like society. That's why society is the way it is. So to put it in another way, there's a physics of this world that we just adhere to, right? For example, gravity. right? From the get-go, gravity is working on us. We start to realize, we start to, drop something and it falls, we don't walk right or we slip and we fall. Again, we abide by the laws of gravity. We abide by the laws of electromagnetism. We abide by the laws of time and space. For example, it's like, well, what is time and space? Well, your cells age, right? On clockwork, women have their menstrual cycles. Again, clockwork. We go to bed, we wake up by clockwork. Again, everything is based on time and space, whether we know it or not. Your body functions, your chemical releases, your hormones, and so on are on clockwork. We go through puberty at a certain age. Again, all time-based, right? There's a time-based mechanism or a time-based property, call it pure physics. So you have Newtonian physics, again, how gravity works and how this reality works. You have quantum physics, which gets even smaller. It's the basis on how, say, the bigger stuff works. And then we have the pure physics, which the realm, the timeless space. And you might go, well, what does it? And this is very different, right? It's like, well, what the hell does physics have to do with love and relationships? Let me tell you, it's got everything to do with love and relationships. And if you haven't found the solution, just bear with me. Just don't go, oh, this is a physics class. It's not. It gives you, again, the bottom line logistics. Because if you understand how the logistics of this reality work in relationships, you'll have a fantastic relationship. I can guarantee you that. Okay. So back to that example, I just want to finish it off, and then we'll jump into, I think the best way to do it is we'll just jump into a session. We'll just analyze the first individual, if that's fine. So think of, you on a roof and you want to change the laws of gravity, or you don't know about the laws of gravity. It's like, hey, I'm going to just jump off the roof and I'll make my own experience. And if I jump off the roof, I'm just going to fly around and then land safely. Okay, that's our assumption. Well, a lot of times, our assumption about relationships and love and marriage and having kids and all that are basically the same. They're your assumptions. They're not, say, based on, say, true realities or true physics on how relationships, how intimacy, how love, how having kids and anything like that in relationships work. Okay, just like that roof example. You can have your own rule set or your own expectations on how stuff works, but gravity always works the way it should. Same thing with love and intimacy and everything else that we're talking about in this relationship. So let's bring on the first person that I'll be analyzing, Woody, I believe.
Yep.
Hey, Woody, how you doing, man?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing really well, thanks. Again, thanks for waiting as we figured out the technical issues. So
No problems.
yeah. So I've never seen you. I don't know what work you've done with exponential intelligence, or but I've never analyzed you, right? Or
No,
we've
yeah,
never had.
absolutely. Never.
Yeah. Right. So, I'll start analyzing you, and if it's okay for me to analyze you here on YouTube with people listening in, right? I'm not going to get into the deep details, on obviously, So we can do that, say on a private session, if you'd like. But let's just jump right in. And if you have any questions, and if you want to ask me questions, intervene, or anything like that, just let me know. I'm going to ask you to verify or validate things that I analyze in you at first, if that's okay with you. Sounds good?
Yep. That sounds
Alrighty,
good.
perfect. So, when I analyze you, again, I don't have to know anything about you, Woody. You can just go, hey, I have a friend, for example, and I can tap into that friend and tell you what they're like. Okay, that's how succinct my abilities are. When I analyze you, is that you're very, I want to say you're very shy. And you might think, well, shit, I'm not shy because I'm really outgoing. I'm that person that is the life of the party, or consoles people and all that stuff. If that makes sense to you. So why do I pick up that you're very shy? And it might be confusing to you, but maybe shy is not a best word, but you're very intrepid. So what you do, and this is how you analyze people, because we all analyze and then act accordingly. You kind of step back and you kind of like observe the playing field, or you observe that person. And then you go, well, what kind of person would I have to be for that person to like me? Does that make sense to you?
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
So when you do that, you, Woody, don't have an identity of who you are, because you're always like one, you're always like one step back. So one, you never enjoy, or you're never in the moment, because you're always having to be one step back and analyzing the next, say, second for you to step into that next second. Does that make sense? So you're always, say, a little delayed
Mm-hmm.
in relationships. And I talk about that because some of the relationships that you've had, it's like, you know, he's a really nice guy, he's fantastic, he's warm and loving and stuff, but it's just like I just can't connect with him. And you're wondering, well, is it my beard, or is it whatever, my face? Gotta go work out. It's got nothing to do with anything like that, my friend. It's got that they live in, say, in their consciousness, or in their, say, reality of time and space. You're always behind them. So, so think of it this way, Woody. If you're walking with somebody, right? They expect you to be walking forward side by side. Okay? What you're doing is you're allowing them to walk forward, and you're hanging back. So just imagine when you're doing that with a friend, they'll always look back. It's like, what the fuck's wrong with them? Why aren't they coming? Why aren't they here? Why aren't they here? And you go, no, 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 no. You just stay ahead of me, and I'll just follow you. Okay. And then you observe what they're doing, and then you act accordingly. So if they go left, you go left. If they go right, you go right. Does that make sense to you? And by the way, I'm just if I'm not just analyzing you, Woody, I'm just helping you change your frequencies. I don't know, you might feel something in your gut area, if that's making sense to you, right?
Totally.
Yeah. So, and I'll talk about that in just a second. But it's not just you I'm working on. If you have similar patterns like Woody, I'll be working on you especially as well. But I'll be working on all of you. Okay. So what does that have to do with relationships? Well, that type, you can never stay connected. You can never be connected. So over time, people or wow, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I see you kind of having 5 short relationships, maybe 2 or 3 solid ones that you were actually in love with, but about 5, yeah, 5 definite relationships, right? From what I'm seeing. Yeah. And then 2 that you're still in love with, or maybe 2.5. You're not sure on that one because there was a lot of passion, and let's just talk about that relationship. There was a lot of passion, but then there was a lot of I want to say kind of distortion or abuse in that. So why does that happen for you as well? Okay, so let's just talk about that real quickly. Do you mind if we talk about that relationship again?
Sure.
I've never seen you, but and it might resonate a bell with you. Again, it was a passionate relationship, good sex, and you got together, and it's like, whoa, this girl really knows me. It's like, how does she do that? Does that make sense? But then it became abusive, so to speak. Does that make sense to you? Or rough?
Yeah, rough would say.
Yeah, not abusive, but rough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to point that out because it's got everything to do with space and time. That girl had the ability, and that's why it's stuck on you. Okay, it's got nothing to do with love. It's got nothing to do with her body or how hot she is and intelligent and all that. Again, those are nice. Okay, but the underlying reason why you were intrigued by her and you still remember her and you still want to connect with her is because you got what you needed. You got what she pulled you into this moment in time. You weren't falling back on her. It forced you to feel who you were. So you're, again, like I said, you were always stepping back, but she just pulled you into real time. It's like, you're here. That's how much control, or that's how much, say, passion she had. But again, when she was like that, she wasn't, say, quite as stable as we would like it to be, if that makes sense to you. So, okay. So,
yeah.
yeah. So the reason why that passion was there and that desire was there and that, say, intrigue or the love was there for you, Woody, is because she literally demanded that you come into time. Okay. But as you came into time, a lot of your insecurities would show up on how people see you. And that goes back into your mother, where you're always, your mother, no matter what you did, basically she always had to correct you. So you were never sure or you're never solid of your identity. She always had to give you the green light or the okay to go out, or even the way you dressed, or basically the way you thought. Does that make sense to you? It was never say perfect. So over time, it's like, fuck, I'm never perfect. I always have to say, ask her to go, hey mom, is this okay? Is it okay if I wear this? Is it okay if I eat this? Is it okay? Whatever, and then you're always, again, you always start to see from a different perspective, somebody else's perspective. When you're in relationships and you start to see things from another perspective, this is where, again, the vibrancy of being a man decreases for you. The woman becomes more of a direction for that relationship. It should be, both, and this is where they start to lose interest again, because that intimacy, although it might be great at first, it wanes down really quick. I mean, it's just like this and then straight down. Uh, Other than that, that relationship that you had. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Yeah. So, and I know, I don't know, you might have gone to other, you might have like looked for, I see you reading a lot, by the way, or researching a lot. So,
Right.
yeah. So, and obviously this is very, very different advice than what you're researching. So the key is though, Woody, for you, not just analyzing you, but changing you, shifting you. So you're in the moment. And then what'll happen for you is that you'll start to embrace yourself for the first time, and you'll start to love yourself for who you are. It's like, hey, you know what? Whatever I'm wearing, it's okay. I don't have to have approval by somebody else for me to be okay. I can just be my funny self. You're very funny, by the way, or that humorous, somebody that can lift somebody up. So a lot of good abilities or a lot of good personality traits for you. But again, the key factor for you is that you're out of time. So what I was doing for you is one, putting you in time, and then help, and that allows you to heal from, say, whatever happened in your earlier days, where we can just say disconnect from all that and go, you know what, I'm really solid, I really love myself the way I am. And when you do that, you're in present moment time, and you'll attract that right person that goes, hey, hey, I love you the way you are as well. Does that make sense? So the things that you've learned in those books will just accelerate the process for you. I would suggest doing the 18-day meditations coming up in in April for you.
Okay.
Do you have any questions, my friend? I know I talk a lot. I worked on your lower back, by the way, as well. You might have some issues in your lower back from what I'm seeing. Is it your right side? Yeah, your right side. From what I'm seeing, I'm not a doctor, but you might have some kind of bladder infection or something going on there, and that's why you have back pain there. So I would suggest maybe what is it, caprylic acid or something like that. I wouldn't suggest whatever they do, an antibiotic, but like caprylic acid or something like that, because that yeast will like go into your back of your kidneys and so on like that, from what I'm sensing. Yeah. So caprylic acid, my friend, I think that'll do you well. All right. So
Thank you very much. That was very insightful. I
oh,
appreciate
awesome.
it.
You're
I
very
must
welcome.
say, I started this conversation being 100% skeptical, but I don't know how you do what you did, but you turned me into a believer. So,
Oh, thanks, buddy. You're so
appreciate
welcome, my friend. And right back, Woody, because within the next 1, 2, 3, yeah, I see you within the next 2, 3 days, you'll have realizations. It's like, holy shit, how did I ever run that pattern the way I did? Because you really fast change. So right back to us, would you? And we might pick some of the people we picked, towards the 13 days. Maybe we could do that. So, those people on my team, let's do that. Let's kind of follow up on how you guys feel like towards the end, and we'll maybe bring you all together and we'll just do a brief synopsis. I think that'd be really cool as well. So, all right,
Sounds
buddy.
good. Thank you.
Awesome. Let's go over to, is it Anne? Hey, Anne.
Hi,
Hi, hon. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. I just finished THR.
Oh, totally awesome. So I've never analyzed you or anything like that, right?
Correct.
You're kind of new to exponential intelligence, but it's like it seems and you're just like loving it. I think for the first time, that youthfulness is coming into you, or the vibrancy. And you don't mind if I analyze you on YouTube or on live, right? It's okay.
Please do.
All right. So you're really ready. And again, when I saw you, I didn't know that you had, when she was talking about THR, it's Total Human Reset that we just finished up. It's an 18-day program that we do 3 times a year or twice a year. I think 2 or 3 times a year. We haven't decided yet, but it radically transformed all aspects of your life in 18 days. And literally, does it not transform your life, Ann, in the 18 days? Yeah, it's crazy. So, so for you, for the first time, and you know how you've always been waiting for life to begin?
Yes.
Yeah. You're always waiting for life to begin. And as a child, I want to say like 9, 10, 11, something like that. Again, a young child, it started maybe at 6. I don't know if your mother got ill or your mother, something happened to your mom where you started to be the mother for your mom.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense to you? Yeah.
It does.
So you'd have that caretaker frequency in relationships, and being a caretaker frequency, it's tough. And I'll explain that, and again, I'll work on you and then work on all you that's listening, and even on the recording if you're listening to it again. So say that again around 6, 9, 10, 11, and then into say puberty, 12, 13, you designate yourself basically as a mother to your mom or a caretaker to your mom. Okay. Which messes you up in a couple ways, hereditary wise, genetic wise, because now you're not identified as a child as like 12, 13. You're identified as an older person because basically you would have to have a persona of an older person to take care of your mom, which kind of distorts you because you're a young girl, but then why are you like say 30 years old, or why do you feel 30? It really messes up your timing, right? Or your cellular memory or your cellular structure. It's like, well, shit, I'm only your cells would go, hey, I'm only 12. Why am I running a program that's of a 40-year-old, let's say, or however old your mom was? So basically you copied her identity to take care of her. It kind of distorted you puberty wise. Again, I'm not a doctor or anything like that, but your bone structure from what I'm seeing kind of is a little soft or a little more frail, because we didn't go into say adult bone structure, which again, or an adult say system mechanism, bone structure, cardiovascular circulation type patterns. So that's something else that you're working on through Total Human Reset. I can see that coming back online. So it's almost like you're going to go through puberty again, which is really good because you get to solidify yourself. Do you mind if I ask you how old you are, hon? You can just give me a rough range, but
60.
wow, fantastic. So 60 going on about 40 from what I'm seeing from Total Human Reset. So when I see you, I did see you as like a 50-ish person, again, probably from Total Human Reset, but then also fragments of you as a child, again, around puberty. I keep knocking on that because something happened to you in puberty where the process didn't go through. So what we can do, and I'll do it quickly for you as we speak, is that we'll reset that time frame. So you'll feel like maybe a 10-year-old or a 12-year-old. And you'll look in the mirror and you'll see yourself as a 10 or 12-year-old. That's how powerful it is. So, okay. And so don't get distorted. I mean, you will get distorted or disoriented. You'll experience being a little girl, like an 18-year-old, because again, you're always waiting. So let's just jump back to relationships for you. Okay? Again, I can scan or analyze anything about you. So how does that affect your relationships? Well, you're a caretaker, so you'll most likely. Did you take care of your mom as she aged, or is she still around, or?
She is still around, and I have over time. I'm not right now in that position though.
Perfect. I think you've kind of stepped away for that, but you physically stepped away, but you're still running that pattern of caretaker. So if something happens to her, it still affects you, if that makes sense to you. And then as she ages, well, she'll try to blend into you. And this is where, as say a parent ages or crosses over, it's like we turn into them even faster. Well, this is the reason. So again, through total human reset, you've disconnected all that, which is really good. In relationships, if you're a caretaker, you're never that spouse that has, that fantastic love, that fantastic experience, that sensual experience, and you've always wanted that in, say, intimacy, right? Sensuality. You wanted to feel like a strong woman, but you can't feel like a strong woman because you're always running a nurturing mother experience to your mate. So, and then you'll attract a mate that always would need nurturing, or they get ill. You've had 2 relationships, I see,
Yeah.
two major ones. Yeah, 2 major ones. And was one, I don't know, like addicted or alcoholic, or who is
Yes,
that?
very much so.
Okay. Yeah. So why would you connect with that? And again, at first, emotions and so on, we'd get it, attracted to them. And then, so the way your programming is, okay, it's your love is basically the way that works for you, Anne, is that you will attract, or you will fall in love with somebody that you can nurture and, say, support. And that's why you would connect with an alcoholic. Does that make sense to you? And then it's like, shit, why am I burdened like this? And then it's like, well, I guess I better go help them even more. So you fall into their life even more. And then you wait for your life to begin. But then you've done that over and over and over again. Now you're 60 and it's like, shit, I haven't enjoyed it. So, it's like, fuck, I'm not going to do that anymore. And that's why I think you joined the Total Human Reset. So congratulations on that. Take a deep breath in, honey. So one, in this quick session, and again, it's just a mini session, we'll start the pattern of unraveling, because you've done most of the work, unraveling what your old relationship pattern. So what that'll mean, and you're pretty ready for the next 2-3 months. I see you coming back into a relationship, but the 2-3 months are going to be spent loving yourself, really embracing yourself, aging younger, really coming into your body structure will change again from what you did with us. So that's really nice. So it's like a whole new identity. And then you're going to show yourself to the world, and you're just going to be proud, and you're going to be you. You still care about people, but not in the way where you burden yourself. You're not going to lose your being a woman, a vibrant woman of, I would say, like, shit, early 40s. You'll go, and your blood and all that will literally resonate. Your blood, your body shape and all that will be of your early 40s, because it seems like 36, 37, 38, it's just like life kind of stopped and you've been waiting ever since. That's why I say you go back into your 37, 38. Something to do with your partner, alcoholic partner or whatever. So anyway, yeah. So anyway, you go back and you go, shit, I'm going to relive my late, 38 over again. Okay. So when that happens, when opportunities happen, it's like, gosh, I never did this when I was 38. That opportunity will show up for you, and take it. Don't worry about, I don't have the money, I don't have this. Just take it, and you'll see that the money, the wherewithal will show up for you. Okay. And then you'll start to embrace, literally the red carpet rolls out for you. What you're doing, again, keep doing what you're doing, and that red carpet will come out. Do you have any questions, hon?
No, this is really affirming. It's super helpful. I appreciate it a lot. I was feeling this way, but I was wondering if I was being realistically hopeful,
No. Yeah. It's amazing, the transformations. And I'm glad you bring that up, because it's believable, guys. There's, again, tons of people that have gone through the process and they change so rapidly. It's real. You don't have to wait, or you go, I know this is too real. I wonder when, the next shoe is going to fall and all that stuff. Those days are gone. And again, the key for you though, hon, is that when you start attracting, a relationship, take it day by day. Okay. Make sure that that person is right. You don't have to sell yourself short. You're a beautiful woman. You don't have to do anything. If it's not right, no, it's just a no. Okay. And you'll feel it, not from a logic standpoint. If you feel sorry for that person, It's a definite no, because that's you confirming your relationships. And I know it sounds cold, but that's how you got attracted to. So, but that redefines love for you, where love does not equal burdening yourself or feeling sorry for somebody to fall in love with them. So again, you have to confirm your deletions. Does that make sense for you, hon?
Very much so. Thank you.
You're so welcome, hon. Very nice, very beautiful. So happy for you, hon. I think that's my is. I get so many people like you that have get a chance to relive life a second time. So I'm so happy for you, hon. Okay.
Thank you. Fantastic.
You're so welcome, Susie. All right, we'll end for today, guys. I'm excited about tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll get all the logistics on the mechanics and technical issues done. So, and if we don't, just bear with us. Again, it's all new equipment. We're trying to provide you the best possible service as we can. So it's a learning experience, just like relationships are. Okay. So we'll move on. Thanks. We'll pick the scans for tomorrow. Okay, so the two people. Just seeing how we can do that, guys. And then for those individuals, email customers@massajati.com. Hopefully, and if a team member can send in or put that up, it's customer with an S @massajati.com with the subject line 13. Okay. So, and you should be new, by the way. Okay. So somebody that I've never scanned before. Let's see here. Oh, this one's good. Caitlin Kent, could you analyze Buddha and his 3 wives? Yes, definitely. That's a good one. So Team Moss Sajati, please do that. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out who to scan. Wow. Can you guys tell me? Please pick me. Let's get Bal, Balkaur. Okay. So that one we'll scan you tomorrow. Balkar. So write into customers@massajati.com. And again, you should be new or not new, but somebody that I haven't, say, analyzed in the past. Okay. And then to, let's see, Anna Chowdhury. So ANACHAWDHRY. Yeah. Yeah, ANACHAWDHRY. If you guys can email customers@massajati.com, subject line 13, they'll give you the logistics, they'll give you camera settings, so be ready to go on camera. Okay, tomorrow. All right, guys, and then tomorrow we're gonna jump in with the first topic, toxic relationships, I believe, and if it's not, whatever first topic that we've got, I think it is toxic relationship. We'll give you the logistics or the science, the physics behind why toxic relationships occur, why you attract toxic relationships. We'll pick. I don't know who one of the great loves. We'll analyze them on it as well, and then we'll do the 2 analysis. All right. So until then, guys, notice what you notice, and then notice the details of what you're noticing. All right. Peace.